Today we're fixing Busch Gardens Williamsburg with $500 million. Now obviously I don't have $500 million, neither does Busch Gardens Williamsburg either. But the other day I found out that Cosmic Rewind, that ride at Epcot, cost over $500 million to make. And Hagrid's cost over $300 million. And so I was like, man, what if I took Cosmic Rewind money and really kind of renovated our favorite park, Busch Gardens Williamsburg? What you're seeing right now is a map of all the different changes I would like to bring. Now, this is a beautiful park. I'm not hating on that. But there's certain things I'm like, man, we should do this. And we're going to do it in phases. Phase 1 is more stuff that I think is like important that we need to get done pretty much soon. Phase 2 is going to be the like bigger items. I'm like, man, if this happens, that's pretty decent. You know, good upgrades to the park. Phase 3 is like the big items. I'm like, oh my gosh, if this happens, my mind will be blown. So the first thing we're going to fix is in Ireland. This used to be Questor. It was made in 1990. It's a motion simulator ride. It's really incredible. It was a lot of fun. Now, it freaked the crap out of me when I was younger. You might know it as Europe in the Air or Corkscrew Hill or Battle for something, which got amazing reviews. And it's also the thing that probably stopped the ride from running anymore. But it was an amazing ride. It was incredible. It brought a lot of energy into Ireland. So it has been running for the past couple of years. And if you know Busch Gardens, we need a lot of things that are not just thrill rides right now, which is crazy to say, but we definitely need something within that. Now, it costs about $8 million to build back in the day, about $16 million adjusted for inflation. And so I would say $15 million of our money would go towards revamping this and bringing it back. So for phase 2, we have something special happening over here, but we're gonna wait to phase 2 to tell you about it. Right behind me is Pet Shenanigans. This used to be a fun little show that the animals would do tricks and everything else. It just provided a lot of kinetic energy to the area that I just really valued. And when I looked into it and when I asked people like, why is it not going anymore? Often they say it's just the family just doesn't do it anymore. But part of me is like, okay, I'll give you $750,000 of this amazing money that we have just to find another group of people that would be willing to come here. Or even if you didn't even have a pet show, you just had something fun, it would just be great. Because some days you just want to sit and just chill. And this would be a great place for that to happen. Now, when creating this video, I realized that there's a line going through the whole park. And I was wondering, why is there a line? I don't remember this being here back in the day. Apparently, there is a pipeline that runs through the whole park, and they're not allowed to build anything on there. Now, Loch Ness Monster gets an exception because it's old and it's kind of been there forever. But it made it a lot more crazier to figure out what rides I'm gonna put into things. And it's kind of the reason why I think Tempesto is placed where it is, right? Because I always thought, it's like, man, you have all this land, like, what are you doing with this? I thought it was just a fire break, but no, it is a pipeline that runs through the whole park, which I understand, I guess, why you don't want to build on top of a pipeline. But that made it a little bit more interesting. And it gives me, Kevin, like if you're watching this, you're probably not, but if you're watching this, I have so much respect for you. But yeah, so just something to keep in mind as we're going through this. When it comes to France, I probably wouldn't do anything because it's just, there's not really that much room to build anything or make any really cool rides in here. But I really like the atmosphere of here, and I just think there's not that much that we need to do. So I'm gonna spend about $5 million on Invader. It's not to RMC it like some people want to do it. It was actually pretty smooth last weekend. I was enjoying it. Honestly, what I would do is I would just spend about $5 million in trees and just something like that, like a little Viking village or something like that, because I think it'd be really great to make it to the next level. Because like European theme parks, they know how to really do it really well. You don't need to be the biggest ride, but if you're well themed, it will take that to the next level. I just want to take Invader to the next level because the front end is so well themed, like it is done really well. Which leads me to kind of my next area that we're gonna be building up. But for the most part, it'll be great to have more trees added into it because then you're riding through it and you're like, your trees on left and right, and I don't know, it'd be pretty fun. So I remember this area before Alpengeist was put in, and also Invader. It used to be this nice wooded area, and I really want to bring that back, or that kind of feel to it, because when you look across the way and you just see that there's just kind of this bald spot of Invader, you know? So I was thinking, if we put something in like rockwork, like California's adventure area, or even like a ski lodge, but I would spend probably about like $18 million. Now within that ski lodge, I don't know if there's enough room. It'd be cool to have like a nice little restaurant, because when you're eating, you'd be facing this nice bridge, but then you also be facing Alpengeist. I think that would be a really cool addition. And of course, put snow on the rocks to keep it aligned with Alpengeist. So this is my #1 ride, Alpengeist. A lot of people don't like it because it's a little rough, just a little bit. It was running really well though a couple weeks ago, but I would spend $50 million on refurbishing this. Now, back in the day when they built it, it was around $20 million to build this roller coaster, and for inflation, it's about $40 million. But I want to add a little $10 million to add even more theming than it already is. Now, I think this is a precious ride in the park. You don't find that many B&M roller coasters that have all these different features going in the ravine and stuff like that at this scale. Like, it just adds so much character to the park. Now, the only thing I would probably want to replace it with is maybe a flying coaster, right? But I just say, if it's not broken, well, it was broken. It's been broken a couple times. That's why I think we need to refurbish it. But, you know, like, this is a good layout. I mean, look at it. It's amazing. It looks so cool. I mean, I don't know. 50 million seems like a small price to pay to keep this going the way that it is right now. Our next renovation involves Loch Ness Monster. I know, it just got renovated and they did a really great job. There's one area that I want to spend $2.5 million on. It's the tunnel. Now I want to break down the tunnel a bit, widen it out so you can add some depth and actually add a Loch Ness Monster and not just an LED wall. The LED wall, I mean, it's cute, it's fine, but it just takes you out of the moment, right? We need a real Loch Ness Monster, like the one that's right outside of it. And so I know it's a cheaper fix, and again, money-wise, I get it. But I'm saying if I had $500 million, like that's definitely what I'm gonna do to fix it. So that's definitely something I wanna do. In phase 3, we're going to talk about Pompeii. I have some cool plans for that ride, but we'll get there in a few. So everybody, welcome to our elephant graveyard of some sorts. We used to have Da Vinci's Cradle right over here, and then now we also have one of our other weird kind of spinny rides, our flat rides. That's what we need. We need more of them. Now, what I'm thinking about is about $5 million given to this area. A Skyfly is something I definitely want to put in there, and so you might have seen some of those. I think it'll go perfectly right there. And it actually fits within the footprint, at least the one I was looking up. And then we would pretty much redo that ride and just get the same type of ride. If you look from satellite, it looks like they kind of gutted this area, but this is where it used to be. Oh, so sad. Now we go to like the number one biggest thing that we need to do. I mean, you probably know where we're going, where we're heading. I didn't forget, we're in the theme Pantheon. I'm gonna probably spend about $17 million just on the theming itself, because I think this ride deserves it. It's a phenomenal ride. It's really great, it's awesome, but then there could be so many cool near misses, just like Velocicoaster in some way, shape, or form. But that's what we're gonna spend the money on. Now, some people have done like little concepts of like what this ride could be with theming. And here are like my AI versions of it. Now, the picture you're looking at was like my first go at it. As you see, you put Paul's chair on the bottom left and little horses. So don't mind the track itself, but just the general theming. I do like the support columns being like an aqueduct kind of feel on this one. Now this next picture is, I think this is the closest to like the budget friendly, where I would always say, just put some columns in there, Busch Gardens, just put some rulings. Like, I feel like that'd be so easy. I love how the track goes through one of those things. I love the big facade that it happens over here. Now this next photo, I mean, this is kind of like, you can't build all this stuff right before the ride itself, but I love that it feels very grand as you're walking in. Now this picture is kind of not necessarily realistic, but I love the giant Pantheon replica in the background. I love all the different columns. I like that you can walk into the middle area so you can get some great views. I love the water features. That's really incredible. This one is probably like the not realistic, but you know, I mean, hey, it is what it is. And this photo, I think, even though the track is a little funky, is wow, this will be beautiful. Like, you see how it goes in and out of caves, it's going around the water. Like, it has everything I would say I would really love in this. So this is the 18 million right here. The next area is a little interesting, only because it involves restrooms. I would spend $1.25 million on renovating all the restrooms that you see on the screen. For some reason, over the past couple of years, it just seems like they've gone a little downhill. And sometimes when a restroom is too old, it'll get to a point to where, you know, you just got to renovate the whole thing to get the, at least in the guys' bathroom, the pee smell out of the area. So that's something I would spend money on for sure, 100%. So for our last thing on phase 1, we have to walk outside the park. This is like a much needed thing, but maybe a hidden much needed thing. And then we're gonna go to phase 2, which is phase 2 is where a lot of fun stuff starts happening. Next item I would say on our list is trams. They're about $1 million per tram. And we've had these trams for like the longest time. And I feel like we just need new ones. All right, so now we're on to phase 2. I'm really excited about this. Phase 2 involves a little bit more of upgrading the park for future expansion, if you will, and making sure that we're good to go for future years to come. Welcome to phase 2. This has us in England parking lot. I feel like the only way that we're gonna be able to bridge out and do some more amazing things at Busch Gardens is the parking lot. You know, you gotta pull Six Flags, just put a roller coaster on it. No, we won't do that. So what are we gonna do with this? So first of all, you see where the parking attendant is all the way down there? We're gonna take, this is about 300 spaces of parking spots, and we're gonna make a parking garage on the other side. Now, a parking garage is pretty much $30,000 per spot, which is insane. In this one area, 1/3 of it is pretty much around 300 parking spaces. So we gotta take 300, put on top of the other one, that's about 600 spaces. Adding in this little area would bring the total spaces to 872 parking spaces, which would cost around $26.1 million. Now, buses could have this area if we wanna just level things out and whatnot. Now, 23.8 million will go to finishing / repaving and sprucing up our auxiliary parking lots. If we're getting bigger stuff, then we might see more people. We wanna make sure it looks really nice. So altogether, it will cost us around $50 million, right? Just to make that. But I think it's needed, right? It'll be fine. I don't want it to be too tall so you can start seeing it outside the park, but I think a parking garage would be really great. But it frees up all this land right here for us to build an awesome roller coaster. So the coaster I want to build here is going to be a mock spinning ride. I don't know, I forgot what it's called, spinner, whatever it is, right? The one that's like Time Traveler at Silver Dollar City. That's what I want to bring here. And the theme that I want to do is Corkscrew Hill, the ride that we just talked about earlier today. I want to bring that to life here. Now, it's not going to be me like a horse themed kind of thing, because it's a mock spinner, so it doesn't really do that. But I want you to almost go through the same scenes that you do there. You go through like a little tiny village, you go over a cliff, you know, and maybe you're going over the cliff and you spin while you're doing that, and you look down, there's a ravine or something. And like, I think it could be such a great idea and a great concept. And so that's something that I am really excited for. I wish I could show you guys exactly what it looks like, but this is what I want to do with this area. Now, will James County approve of that? I don't know. It's always a pain to kind of get stuff approved through them. Understandably, you know, they're just trying to keep this area really nice, but that's why the parking garage, I don't want it to be too tall. So behind this gate, you can go straight into Ireland. When we do media days or anything else, this is pretty much where we would go into. But this will be the entrance to the new area. Now, how much will I put into this? $100 million. Because we're trying to build a ride that would bring people from afar to come into it. But it's also a family ride. I think it all works together so well. The next thing to refurbish will definitely be Land of Dragons. It's getting old, it's great, it's awesome, but I saw Wild Oasis in Busch Gardens, Tampa, and I was blown away. So for Land of Dragons, I didn't get to really experience that as a kid. It was built kind of after my childhood, but it's a pretty cool place. It was awesome when it first started out, but now I definitely feel like it needs a renovation. It needs that next level. But I saw what they did with Wild Oasis in Busch Gardens, Tampa Bay, and was blown away. And so therefore I'm like, man, it would be nice to get a refurbishment for there. But $40 million is what Wild Oasis costs, and I'd probably think that's probably what it's gonna be for over here. Okay, of course, Dark Coaster is not gonna escape any of my fixings of this park. Actually, it's not that bad of a ride. I give it a lot of crap, but honestly, it's just capacity is my biggest issue. So to fix it, or maybe do something about it, I was gonna elongate the building, because when you elongate the building, add about $9 million more of pushing it back, so you can maybe have an extra station so people can get off, or find out some way to make the capacity a little bit better than what it is right now. Hey guys, me from the future. I forgot two things. $4,500,000 to go towards the new coaster trains. In some way, shape, or form, if we need an extra here or there, whatever it is, just to make sure that we're running at a full level. Also, $5 million is gonna go to some type of staff enhancement. The staff members work really hard here, and so just wanna put that in. Now back to the past. Phase 3 is kind of bringing what they're building at Dollywood here. I'll put $30 million towards Pompeii, but I want to make it Mission Bermudez. If you've ever seen that, it's a really incredible ride where it's a roller coaster, but also water ride. It's a mixture of all these different things, but I think it would spark up this area to that next level, right? It even has like an elevator that brings you up to the drop, and I think you can put an elevator in this and make it to the drop, like put more pyrotechnics and everything else like that. It'll be amazing. It'll be incredible. It'll bring it back from this ride from the dead. I mean, this was incredible for back then. It was made in 1995, but it needs some love, it needs some help. Phase 3 is just kind of like maybe like wishful thinking, right? Big picture, man, I wish this would happen, but don't know if it ever really happened. But it fixes one big problem with our area, which I really started with Dragonfire, right? It's this little entrance right here. A lot of people don't even know that Big Bad Wolf exists, but unless they take like the train or something. And so my thought is we do some renovations, move some stuff around. Okay, let's get further in there. Let's show you guys. So I'm gonna take you through what I'm predicting will be $60 million worth of renovations in this area. It won't be easy, but I think think it will really help out this place a good amount. So first thing we're gonna do, we're gonna take out the bumper cars. The bumper cars are great, they're awesome, but we're actually gonna put them and we're gonna move them to further back behind the fest house itself. Now this area, I didn't know how much room it would have, but it actually has a good amount of room, right? Because you have Verbolten's show building right over there, and you have from there all the way over to here to make something. Now my thought is that you put houses, something that covers up that whole building and makes it look like its own little town. But look how much space you actually have in this. Like this used to all be, if you remember, this used to be all little tiny houses right in this area that they used to build up, but they took out. So I'm saying is, let's take this whole pathway, let's push it back against that, make like a, I don't know, just push it back over there, build in some land, bring some land in here, and then build some facades or like a nice little town, or even have a pathway going down and going back up, right? Now you would take out the Black Forest. Black Forest is cool, it's awesome, but it's just a bunch of like eating areas. They probably use, I don't know how many times they use it for the year, and it's a money maker probably, so that's what's going on. But look how much room you have. You have so much room back there to expand, right? So a huge amount, you can make this its own land. So I've heard of people wanting this to be like Spain, and not, I don't know, ruins Big Bad Wolf, I guess. But you have so much room to do a lot of things. Now the problem with this area is there's only one ride back here. So you walk across the whole park for one ride. So I'm saying let's bring in more rides into this area, at least 2 more. So this would be almost like the center of a lot of fun stuff happening. We would have a new ride come right here. This will be probably like the swinging kind of ride. I forgot what it's called. And then you would have a massive, amazing roller coaster back there. Now to make a little bit more room, we're gonna move the train and we're gonna push that back. Right? Push that back a little bit so we have a little bit more room to do fun stuff in here. So for phase 3, I want to bring in a huge roller coaster. I mean, Big Bad Wolf is great and it's awesome, but I want something that it puts us on the map. I want a Still Vengeance quasi voyage kind of roller coaster that makes everybody be like, whoa, I have to be back here. I want it to be like big when you first walk up, like Still Vengeance, you have that like, whoa, that's insane. But also I still want elements like Voyage. That second half of Voyage is so incredible. It will dip down by the river, as all of our roller coasters almost seem like they do. Dip down there and it'll be pitch black out there, a triple down. Like, I want this ride to be so incredible. But if you put a big ride back here, it gets more people back here. You put 2 kiddie things, right? A flying scooter, if you make that somewhere in the middle area. And remember, we're taking out the Black Forest, a good amount of that. You have the train back here off to the side. I think the train will help make this more accessible to a lot more people. And Big Bad Wolf, you have all those things together, and I think it would just make this place incredible. But here's the deal, those are my thoughts on this wild journey. Thank you for watching and hanging out for a bit. But what would you do? What things do you think you move around? What things did I get the price wrong completely on? Tell me in the comments below, and I'll talk to you guys later. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Thanks for watching all the way through, and here are some other videos that you can check out while you're here. And don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next adventure.